For today's reading, I've chosen a familiar format, the 3 cards, but instead of a past, present, future outlook or a physical, mental, spiritual, I want to take a look at an individual in the present, obstacles, and assets or advantages. So if we look at the present card, this may speak especially clearly to you if I've addressed a female, as we have the Queen of Discs, as Crowley preferred, or pentacles or pentagrams, or coins, depending on your tarot of preference. And if we look at our Queen of Pentagrams, as I prefer, we see some things. First, we must note the suit, the discs or pentagrams, which I associate, of course, with the earth element and the element that we really, if you think about it, have the most, we can consider it the most pliable. I can try and construct something with air, and I can't even hold on to it. Fire definitely has a transformative quality, and we can use that as we want to transform the earth element. Water as well. But earth is something solid, is something tangible. I mean, I can try and hold on to that flame, and it won't do much good for me. I can also try and hold on to water. So if we look at the earth element, or the pentagrams or discs, there we see the area that we can work on, that we can work with, by virtue of the other elements represented in the cards. But so that can include money, that can include our environment, and to some extent the internal and external environments. But if we look at her, and as far as I read tarot, she corresponds really nicely with the kings of other decks, as the high-ranking royalty. We see her seated in a comfortable position, looking out over what appears as some sort of kingdom. We have some little trees there, it looks like, happy little trees, and a little river. And so we look at her as a master of her domain, in a comfortable position, with power and authority represented in her scepter, and horns to match her goat or ram friend. And this might represent some stubbornness. It can represent firmness, but it may also represent some stubbornness. And that can get in the way. That doesn't mix nicely with our challenges card, or our obstacle card, death, which came up in a reading yesterday, which was the day card yesterday, in fact. So there we have some recent commentary on death, and you might do well to pause this or visit that episode later. We see a scorpion in death. We see a serpent, both transformative figures. A snake sheds its skin and becomes itself anew, right? In the Black Flame Tarot depiction of death, we see the skeleton facing us and walking along, as I point out yesterday, in a sea or a river of maggots, also symbols, although disgusting, of transformation. Stubbornness and transformation don't always go well together, do they? Look at his energy. Look at the dance of death depicted in this card. stubbornness wants to stand still, but death will not. Death will drag us by these strings here, kicking and screaming, whether we want to transform or not. We set a lot of our transformation in motion, but a lot of times we also transform as a result of things transforming around us. A spouse that leaves, a job that closes, a driver that didn't see the red light, a dog that bites us on the sidewalk, the death of a loved one. These things sit outside of our control, yet we can react differently than our friend here. She chooses not to face death as he moves forward, but imagine these strings connected to her, pulling her from her comfortable seat, her stubborn seat. You see, she has achieved a lot. We may feel that we've achieved a lot in the present, but that doesn't stop things from happening. So while she's done much, a certain pliability and accepting of her position in the world needs to take place. Now, to our advantage, here we have the swords. In this case, the 10. Not the happiest card either. Not the happiest card. In fact, you can see here Crowley associated this card with the word ruin. Not a happy word. But if we choose to look at this from a constructive angle, look at all the red and orange and yellow in that card, which to me suggests a lot of action, a lot of mental activity in this case. Now, an overactive mind can result in anxiety, and closely related to that, depression, paranoia. But we, like our queen, have some control over this element of ourselves. Can we take a strong mind that happens to see a lot of bad and conspiracy and, patterns that may or may not exist, and can we turn that into something productive? Can we say, the change that I face right now really has a lot of weight and can hurt me, and focus on that? Or can we say, that was rough, but what can I do with it? Can I take my overactive, perhaps self-deprecating analysis and turn that into something advantageous and beneficial? Can I, instead of saying, I think the job that closed, I think the people behind that decision were out to get me, what will I do? And turn that into, where can I go from here and how can I use this circumstance to my advantage? Can we take the transformation that takes place when a dog bites us and we have to see the doctor and say, yes, I have to go through some painful rabies injections that'll cost me something, but can they check me for some other things that I've been putting off doing at a doctor's? Can we take the unexpected car accident and reframe that in our minds? All crummy circumstances, but we can use these swords to cut through some of those negative perceptions and do something productive and useful with them. They may put us on a path we didn't expect to get put on. But where can we go on that path? What discoveries can we make that we might not have otherwise? So think about that throughout the day. I hope you find it interesting. I hope you find it insightful, and maybe it inspires a little change. I certainly hope so. Feel free, please, as always, to leave some comments in the comment section. I love discussion, questions, concerns, howdies, how have you been? Good, bad, and ugly. I'd love to hear it. Please also subscribe. You'll get regular updates that way. And also take a look at the other social media platforms. I've got the information in the description. You can join and follow me on Facebook and on Instagram. I'm going to look at some other platforms as well here in the future. But right now, these three keep me pretty busy. So yeah, I hope you've enjoyed it. I hope you'll come back next time. Have a wonderful day and keep transforming.